World Cup, which is currently being played in England and Wales. The Proteas have lost 3 and drawn 1, putting themselves in a very tricky position where qualifying for the semi-finals of the tournament seeming like a bridge too far. Tonight we have our cricket analyst Lunga Kupiso to sit and dissect matters for us. Good evening, Lunga, and welcome to Full View Sports. A lot of people saying we thank the weather gods. Finally, we've got a point. But do you agree with this, or have we missed out on an opportunity to actually register our first win and gain those vital points?
Well, luckily we sit as a country in a situation where the equation is clear. It's not ambiguous at all. You need to win 6 games. You have 6 games left. So we needed full points from the game today. Yeah, it's nice that we're going to get out of the World Cup when we get out of the World Cup with at least a point as it stands if it was to end now. But that wasn't the equation, that wasn't the plan. We were going into the game needing full points, and we didn't get full points. Now where we find ourselves is that peculiar ground where we need to do what we can do by all means and measures, and then cross our fingers and, you know, as a country, and hope that somewhere, somehow, somebody's going to pull a Pakistan or a West Indies, and that's not a nice place to be.
And also, would there be a matter of deserving to be in the semi-finals in that case?
Well, if you do what you need to do, it doesn't matter how you get there, just as long as you get there. And whoever doesn't get to the semi-finals, then clearly they didn't do what they needed to do to get to the semi-finals. Doesn't matter how scrappy it is.
Yeah.
What matters is you are there.
Yeah.
How you get there, well, that's up to you.
Absolutely. Let's have a look at our batting. Oh my goodness, really not on par today as well. 27 for the loss of 2, and then the weather gods intervened. But I mean, our men, you know, the main culprits, Amla, Makram, not getting those runs. Whatever happens in this World Cup, is it safe to say we need a new batting coach after this?
We probably had all these questions and grey areas building up to this World Cup if you take it back to 2.5 years before the World Cup started. Because, let's be honest, in the series that we've held both here at home and when we've travelled away as the limited over side, we haven't really played good cricket. Our batsmen have shown that they're not there, and continuously opposition and the top sides in the world that we like to compare ourselves against, the Indians, you look at New Zealand, you look at a side like Australia, who really haven't been at the top of their game, but they still were miles ahead of us. Those were telltale signs that we ignored. And if there was ever a time where we needed to question whether our batting coach is the right man to be the batting coach, perhaps it should have happened 3 series ago, when South Africa also, started to look really shaky, and it looked like they were down and out. So the World Cup is not really a place where we can say we are affirming whether we need a batting coach or not. The World Cup is a place where the team showcases what they've been building up towards, and how you showcase that, the cherry on top is taking the trophy. Obviously, at the end of this World Cup, heads must roll, starting with the captain. Captain has to go. If I was in Linda Zondi's position and I was at CSA, Faf would have been stripped of his captaincy immediately after that AB de Villiers scandal. Because for me, I cannot understand how a captain would go to selectors and say, AB is available, can we consider him? Because what does that say to the people that I am going to the World Cup with? Yeah. What does that say to the players that I'm expecting to perform at their best if I, as a captain, am saying one of them must die for an AB de Villiers spot? So the captain must go. We need a change of that. Definitely our batting coach hasn't proven what he has given the Proteas in terms of elevating their game. So it's not to say that he doesn't have what it takes to become a Proteas batting coach, but he definitely has not done the job. And if you do not fulfill your KPIs, unfortunately, your job has to be on the line, and we must find somebody who can fulfill those duties. Yeah. And also, you get this feeling that with our South African sports, especially South African cricket, we've got this gentlemanness about us in how we go about the business. We're not brutal. Whereas if you compare Pakistan, you compare England, you compare Australia, you compare India, those teams are brutal in their expectations of their support staff, of their players, because they understand if you create an environment that encourages lethargicness, yes, you're not going to get the best out of people. So if our batting coach, our bowling coach, our head coach understand that this is a place of comfort, they're not really pushed to push the guys to get the results. If the players know that even if I've had a horrible domestic season, I've still got my ticket to get to the World Cup. And then we get to the World Cup and we bite our nails and I wonder what happened. The signs were there building up to the World Cup. So, yeah, I mean, heads must roll. People need to make space, make room for the next generation. And hopefully, once we start rebuilding, we have a good 4 years of rebuilding. And when we get to the next World Cup, then we can really compete.
Sure. That was a mouthful, and I feel like very harsh words coming from there, but I do, to a certain degree, you know, agree with you there. Let's look at the personnel right now in England. You know, a lot of people asking themselves, in terms of the cricket players who are there now, should others have been selected in their place? You know, we look at Ariza, for instance, in the place of Amla. Yes, he didn't have a good summer, but in terms of personnel, can we dissect that a bit more?
Well, once again, Ubuntu is our natural, is in the DNA of who we are as a country. We look at Amla and we say, oh no, shame, he's given us 12 years of incredible cricket. He deserves to be at the World Cup.
Yeah.
Sorry? He deserves to be at the World Cup? Do his numbers right now back that call? Not his numbers over 12 years. Do his numbers in the current season back that call? If the answer is no, Amla, we're not saying that this is the end of your career, but you're just not traveling to the World Cup. Reza Hendricks, we've given him a short straw. He's shown us that he has what it takes, and he's given us results. And then closer to the World Cup, 3 games where his form slumps, and we say, no, thank you, we're not willing to take a chance on you, but we're willing to take a chance on Amla, who, by the way, averaged 14.65. 14.65. That is 52 runs he scored when he had the chance to play in domestic cricket. That's simply not good enough.
Yeah.
You look at a guy like Dominic Hendricks as well. He's had a brilliant season in the domestic scene, but he didn't find himself with any opportunity of getting onto at least his name being suggested. Didn't happen. But we're willing to give these endless opportunities to Aiden Makram. Once again, I've said it plenty times right here, that I believe in Aiden Makram, and I back him as the next big thing in cricket. But if we do not push players to get to a point where they know, if I don't perform, my place is not guaranteed. It's not a right to play for South Africa. It is an honor. And the only way to get that honor is when you perform. If you don't perform, you need to make room for the next guy who's performing. Otherwise, what is my incentive in the domestic scene if I'm performing and I'm not getting selected? Where does that take the domestic scene? Amla, yeah, sure. I mean, we can say we saw this coming because he struggled building up to the World Cup. Aiden Makram, it's hard to say because Aiden has had a brilliant season in England, playing county cricket. Once again, international versus domestic scene. Just because he's had great success at the domestic scene in England didn't mean that he's going to get great results for the Proteas. Could we have had a Reza Hendricks there? Yeah, we should have. Temba Bavuma is another guy that we just never mention when we're talking about one-day cricket. He's got a brilliant debut century playing for the Proteas. And after that, they said, no, Temba is a test specialist. Has the guy come out and said, I just want to play test cricket? Or did he say, I want to play cricket for my nation? So why are we giving certain players the leverage and long strings to say, go and fail, don't worry about it. We back you to get the results. And then these players get up and sign call-packs. And the guys that do well for the country, we don't give them the opportunities. It just...
Lunga, so passionate. You know, we could continue with this, and we definitely will. Thank you so much, our resident cricket analyst, Lunga. But as we normally do on every Monday,